Hello, welcome. Hello, welcome. Welcome. This is the global community for adults who are healing CPTSD. My name is Athena, and we have been gathering here together about once a week now for almost 10 years. We show up here together. We connect with one another. We check in on one another. We share what's been working for us and what hasn't been working for us during our healing journey. Healing from repeated relational trauma, which has resulted in symptoms of complex post-traumatic stress. So I hope you can hear me okay. I've been having it's interesting. I'm having some issues with my audio on my laptop, and then simultaneously I've been having issues with audio in my voice box. So I almost lost my voice earlier today. I'm hoping you can hear me okay. So here on Mondays, what we've been doing over the last few years, we start off with some breath work. We have our meditation, our devotional, Morgan Harper Nichols. We have a compassionate healing strategy written by Dr. Ariel Schwartz. And we also have our Loving the Self affirmation written by Lisa A. Romano, all of which will be read by me. And if my voice is a little scratchy and it's a little bit distracting for you, my sincere apologies. I will do my best not to clear my throat in your earbuds. A very warm welcome to you, John Harvey and Emily and Lance. So good to see all three of you. Hello. I'm hoping you can hear me okay. If you can hear me, John Harvey, Emily, and Lance, could you just give me a little thumbs up or let me know that you can hear me okay? I had to reboot my computer. Oh, thank you so much, Emily. Thank you, John Harvey. No, it's okay. It is what it is. You know, I use my voice all day, every day. Thank you so much, Leah. Hello to you. Oh, Lance says my voice is a little soft. Hey, Mandy J and Lil J. So good to see you. Hello, Jennifer. Oh, thank you all so much. Well, we will go ahead and we will get started then because, you know, I want to make sure that we get as far along as possible before my voice decides to give out. So I want to invite you to get very, very comfortable. I will do the same. I'm grabbing an extra pillow to support my posture. I am in my comfy workspace. My feet are propped up out in front of me. And I have two pillows supporting my posture. I actually tweaked my back a little bit, lifting some things over the past week or so. So I'm on the mend. So we will go ahead and we will get started. We're going to do box breathing today. I will count us in on our first breath and our fourth breath. We will breathe in for 4 counts, hold for 4 counts. Breathe out for 4 counts and hold for 4 counts. And we will do that 4 times. So again, I'll count us in on our first breath and our fourth breath. And if for any reason holding your breath or doing breath work is not helpful and supportive for your unique healing journey, then please, as with everything, just skip it. Take the best and leave the rest, as they say in the 12-step rooms. We'll go ahead and we will begin now. We'll breathe in 3, 2, 1. Inhale. 3, 2, 1. Hold. 3, 2, 1. Breathe out. 3, 2, 1. Hold. 3, 2, 1. On your own now. Once again. Last time together now. Breathe in 3, 2, 1. Inhale. 3, 2, 1. Hold. 3, 2, 1. Exhale. 3, 2, 1. Hold. 3, 2, 1. Beautiful. Well done. I only got one yawn on that one. I think it's because I've had a little bit of anxiety about losing my voice, because I have a lot of work to do this week and a lot of projects that I'm trying to complete as well. Not only my work, but like projects around my apartment. And if I'm going to lose my voice and not feel well, that will sort of, that will prohibit me from accomplishing everything. Doesn't it sound like I'm becoming a little bit of a human doing rather than a human being? I think that might be the message here. The overarching message of this week, because you know we have a theme. Every week we talk about our theme. Well, this week's theme that seems to be across the board, embracing new changes. Embracing new changes. So sometimes changes, even if they are quote unquote good changes, sometimes changes can feel hard and they can feel unsettling. I think it's really important, and it might be worth mentioning. I'm going to place one hand on my heart and one hand on my belly. And I want to contemplate the idea. I learned this a couple weeks ago. So let's look at the difference between something that feels unsettling, like a change that happens that feels unsettling, versus unsafe. Feel the difference? Did you feel that shift? So for me, I don't have any changes that are happening in my life that feel particularly unsafe, but I do have some changes that, excuse me, I do have some changes that feel a little bit unsettling because change can be difficult, regardless of whether it's good change or not. Right? So I just have my hand on my heart, and wherever you find yourself today, whatever changes are coming your way, I just want you to know that I see you. I hear you. I'm with you. I want to witness you with such compassion. Whatever changes you're going through, I'm offering you an extra measure of compassion. And I want to acknowledge that even if the changes that you're going through are technically, in air quotes, good changes or positive changes, I just want to validate that however you're feeling about those changes, it matters. Your feelings about what you're going through, your feelings matter. I'm checking in with myself and I'm asking myself, are the changes you're experiencing, Athena, are they unsettling because they're new, or are they unsettling because they're unsafe? And for me, my changes feel just a little bit unsettling because they're new. They don't feel unsafe. But that might not be the case for you. So I just want to offer you an extra measure of compassion, and I want you to know that I have deep empathy for wherever you find yourself today. Because if we're all being honest, I have been in situations previously where the changes I was experiencing and going through, they weren't only just a little bit unsettling, they did feel unsafe. So wherever you find yourself today, I'm so glad that you're here. Thank you for clicking on this video, and for those who are here for our time together, our weekly time together every Monday, 7 p.m. Eastern. I just want you to know that I see you and I'm grateful for you. I honor you. I honor your process. I honor your journey. Okay? Thank you for showing up for you. And thank you for doing breath work with me. It was nice to regulate my nervous system. It was really wonderful to co-regulate with you. A warm welcome to anyone I didn't get a chance to greet by name. Let me just glance here. Warm welcome to you. Hello once again, Jennifer. Hello, warm welcome to you, Susan and Midnight Blue. Hello once again to Emily. Hello once again to John Harvey. Really wonderful to be here with you as well. Thank you. Warm welcome to you, Ashley. Hello. Oh, no problem. For any typos, please don't ever apologize. This is not a place where you need to worry about any type of perfectionism. There's no hall monitor. It's going to monitor any of what we do. You know what we should do one night? We should type out in the chat box. I'm going to do it right now. We should type in the chat box whatever comes out. Boom, just like that. There's the longest typo ever typed. There's no worries about any typos. No worries about anything. We're just glad that you're here. Anyone looking at the chat box, if they're not listening to the replay, they're going to wonder what's wrong. Good job, John Harvey. That's awesome. I love this. I'm celebrating our messy mindfulness. We are so in the moment. We're so here in this present moment. Sending so much love. Okay, well, we are going to have our reading, our meditation with Morgan Harper Nichols. Again, if my voice gives out, please forgive me. It's all about change. It's all about embracing new changes. Morgan is inviting us this week. She says, through the cycles of life, you are growing. Morgan says, imagine a butterfly as it prepares to emerge from its chrysalis. This process, although natural, is not without its struggles. The butterfly does not burst forth in an instant, but must wriggle and rest, wriggle and rest. At times, it seems as if it is making no progress at all, and yet with gentle persistence, the butterfly frees itself. As the butterfly eases out its wings are not yet ready for flight. No, they are damp and crumpled from their time in the confining space. The butterfly does not rush this. It does not scorn its wings for not being ready to take the air immediately. Instead, it rests, allowing time for its wings to dry and unfurl. And with the sun's warmth and the passing of time, the wings stretch and strengthen, and soon the butterfly is ready to ascend into the sky. And in the same way, when we find ourselves in the midst of change, we could extend the same kindness to ourselves as the butterfly does. Change can be uncomfortable and often comes with its own set of challenges. Change can feel like we are confined, struggling to become who we want to be. We must remember to wriggle through the challenges and also to rest, to give ourselves the time we need to adapt. Kindness to yourself is like the patience the butterfly exhibits. It is understanding that not all processes happen immediately, and that growth needs both effort and rest. You should not be harsh with yourself if you are not ready to soar right away. Instead, you could give yourself time to adjust, to let your wings dry, knowing that with patience and attention to your own needs, you will find the strength to rise and embrace the new heights that change brings. I love that. I'm so grateful for Morgan. I know I say that week after week after week, but I'm continually grateful for her work and for the gentle patience she brings to everything, the loving kindness and the gentleness, the tenderness of her message, and the care in which she writes. You know, it truly is just so beautiful, so very, very, very beautiful. So we're going to transition now to our compassionate healing strategy. And we go ahead and just invite you to get very comfortable. We have a couple of vignettes that we are going to be reading. I think I need to turn on my lamp. Hold on one. I know I'm going to be yelling in your ear, and I'm so sorry. Let me see if I can get Alexa to do it. Hold on one second. Alexa. Alexa, turn on the lamp.
Okay.
Oh, thank you so much. I wonder what she says. Hold on. Alexa, thank you so much.
You're so welcome. Your kindness really gives me a charge.
Oh, I love that. Don't you love it when your robots are nice? When they're just so polite and kind? So last week we began our in our compassionate healing strategy. We're doing a little bit of a deep dive into the depressive presentation of complex PTSD. So, for instance, we've talked a lot over the past several months, actually. I think from like January, and we've talked a lot about the anxious presentation. And that's when we feel hypervigilant and like we're scanning the environment for danger and we're in survival mode and our amygdala is hijacked and we're in the most oldest part of the brainstem where we're just in survival mode. We're bracing ourselves. And we focused a lot on that. But the last few weeks, we've been focusing on the depressive presentation of complex PTSD. And last week, we started with the feelings of hopelessness and despair. And we listened to the vignette, the account of Daryl. And we talked a lot about understanding the loss of meaning, like the meaning of life, and then like how that can cause us to feel hopelessness. And our healing strategy last week, we talked a lot about glimmers, which are the opposite of triggers. And they're those micro moments where we feel grounded, calm, or neutral. So we're continuing the theme this week in glancing at the depressive presentation of complex PTSD. And we have two vignettes. One is the account of Adam, and the other is the account of Charlotte. And our healing strategy today is reflecting upon our strengths. Now, remember, when we are doing these compassionate healing strategies, which are most can be found on Dr. Ariel Schwartz's blog, drarielschwartz.com. I'm reading from the paperback version of her book called A Practical Guide to Complex PTSD, Compassionate Strategies to Begin Healing from Childhood Trauma. So if for any reason you're unable to purchase the book or you're unable to locate what you're looking for on her website, you can always go back and listen to the replays on this YouTube channel. And you can fast forward every single video to about the 20-minute mark and just find that sweet spot where we start reading from, and I say that we're going to transition to our compassionate healing strategy. And you can sort of listen to every single one of those and do the exercises with us, regardless of whether or not you're able to be here for our live discussions. We would love for you to be able to do that. It's just kind of a creative way to go through all of the different exercises and the compassionate healing strategies in the book, and benefit from the consistent practice of regulating the nervous system and showing up for ourselves with self-compassion and acknowledging our journey and validating our own emotions and really just showing ourselves the kindness and the patience and the gentleness that we need, okay? The more and more and more and more and more we do that consistently, the deeper we heal, the better we feel, okay? The deeper we heal and the better we feel. Why is that? Well, it's the same reason why when we go to the gym once a year, we don't see the same results as we would if we went once a week. And conversely, the results we would see if we went every 3 days versus every 7 days, well, that would show up differently as well. So what I've been trying to do is show up for myself compassionately with warmth and kindness and gentleness and patience on a daily basis, even if it's just for a couple of micro moments. And can I tell you, it makes a huge difference. So with all that being said, we're going to glance at Adam's story, and we're going to listen to Dr. Ariel Schwartz's commentary on that. And then we're going to listen to Charlotte's story and Dr. Ariel's commentary and solution-oriented dialogue about Charlotte's lived experience. And then we are going to practice our healing strategy together here like we do every week. And as it's been in the past few weeks, we do have some journal prompts, okay? We have some journal prompts again this week. So if you have time to type it in the chat box or to jot it down in a journal or in the notes app of your phone, I really want to encourage you in that way, okay? So here we go. So Adam says, it's just too painful to have goals. As a kid, whenever I really wanted anything, it got taken away. So I just stopped wanting. Even now, I don't see the point in trying. Nothing I do makes a difference. End quote. So Dr. Ariel says, when Adam came to me in therapy, we discussed his goals for treatment, and he cringed at the word goals, letting me know that it was too painful for him to even consider talking to me about his hopes and desires. As we explored his childhood, Adam described his mother and father as mean and vindictive. He recalled times that he was excited about things as a child and how this made him a target for their cruelty. I learned then that he had very little control over his life. Even as an adult, Adam lived a life of scarcity. He had a small apartment with little furniture and few material items. His fridge was often empty. The times he did have something positive in his life, he felt that he had to use it quickly before it got taken away. He would eat his food quickly without enjoying it. He would spend money without letting himself save up for anything that he really wanted. In therapy, Adam slowly began to open his mind to the possibility that his life could change for the better. He had lived for such a long time within a constrictive lifestyle. He attended to the grief and pain of his childhood, and he realized that he had very limited tolerance for any positive emotions. As he gained insight about his history, he could see that he pushed his good feelings away just like his parents did when he was a little boy. One day, I asked Adam to imagine that he had just been given a special gift. He told me that he was imagining being given a puppy, something that he had always wanted as a child. He started to feel tears well up. We both knew that the critical voices inside him would soon chime in to say that he didn't deserve the puppy. But I asked him to choose a new phrase that he would say to himself instead. And he said, "I deserve to be happy. No one can take that away from me now." A few months later, Adam came into therapy to share the news that he had adopted a dog. His life was now focused on walking, feeding, and caring for his little friend. He could feel a sense of purpose for the first time. So beautiful, you guys. Truly beautiful, right? I can relate to Adam's story a lot. My parents were divorced when I was quite young, around the age of 4 or 5, and if I showed any type of happiness and joy when I was at one household, I became a target, and so I kept my feelings really close to the vest, and I didn't show any emotions so as to remain as needless and as invisible as possible, right? So I could try to remain safe. But then when I would go to the other house and spend time with any of the other side of the family, if I showed any emotion other than happiness and joy, I was told that I was ungrateful and that I was a spoiled brat, and I would be the target of their bullying and their scapegoating and their mobbing. And so I had to quickly adapt. I had to be continuously on guard. Which home am I in? Which emotions are welcome? Which emotions are unwelcome? Who do I need to be safe right now? Who do I need to be to remain untargeted by the cruelty of these people? And so I felt very sort of like unsafe no matter where I was, because if I showed one emotion in one household, I would become a target, so I needed to remain this way or that way. And then the same would happen in the other household, but it was opposite. So I don't know if you can relate to that, but if you can, my hand is on my heart, and I just my heart just hurts knowing that anyone knows what that feels like. When I was reading this portion of the book, I was just like, oh my gosh. Just knowing that that is something that happens, and it wasn't just something that happened to me. Not that I'm special, like some sort of a snowflake, but like just knowing that this person in the book, Adam, experienced that and put words to something that I had previously not really been able to put words to. It simultaneously felt very validating and also just very devastating, you know? What about you? Can you relate to Adam's story? Please feel free to share. So, I'm going to transition into reading about Charlotte's story and sharing Charlotte's story with you now. This is Charlotte's account, and it's a little bit different than Adam's, but perhaps you can relate to Charlotte's story. Let's see. So Charlotte says to Dr. Ariel Schwartz, even though I've been in therapy for years, I can still get triggered. And when this happens, I start to feel utterly hopeless, like I will never get better. Shouldn't I be over this by now? End quote. So, there's somebody outside the door. I can't tell if they're talking to me or my neighbor. I think they're talking to my neighbor. I apologize if that's distracting for you. So Dr. Ariel says, when Charlotte began therapy, she had debilitating depression. She had been hospitalized on several occasions for depressive symptoms, including considering suicide. Her history of sexual and emotional abuse had profoundly impaired her trust in people. However, she was dedicated to developing better coping strategies. And during therapy, she began to notice steady improvements in her psychological well-being. Charlotte felt increasingly connected to other people and has even begun writing a book in the hope that her experience might help others who have faced trauma in childhood. Recently, Charlotte came to our session feeling very upset. She had had an argument with a friend who then abruptly ended their friendship. This experience brought back difficult feelings of abandonment and loneliness. Charlotte revisited the old feelings of being a burden, and she told me that she thought she was just too much for anyone to handle. She felt hopeless and started to question whether she would ever be healthy. I shared with Charlotte that it is normal to feel sad and hurt when we have been rejected by another person. Together, we attended to the grief that arose as a result of her conflict with her friend. We reflected upon the fact that growth is often not linear, and that it is a common experience. It's common to experience setbacks during the healing process, especially when they are triggered by current events. I also reminded Charlotte of the overall growth and healing that she had achieved. Charlotte understood that she was revisiting feelings that were related to her traumatic past. But instead of being critical about the return of her symptoms, she recalled how she had in the past developed the skills to attend to her pain with compassion, and as a result, she felt more connected to her inner resilience, more determined than ever to write her story, and she was able to resolve her distress relatively quickly. So that's wonderful. I think it's really worth mentioning that when Charlotte was telling her story, like the beginning of Charlotte's story, she was saying, even though I've been in therapy for years, I still get triggered. And when this happens, I feel utterly hopeless, like I'm never going to get better. Like, shouldn't I be over this by now? If I had a nickel for every time someone came to me and said, Athena, shouldn't I be over this by now? Or I'm being told that I should be over this by now. So I really want to make sure that each and every one of us here understands that even that one time when I got to have that phone interview with Pete Walker, the author of Complex PTSD from Surviving to Thriving, I'll never forget his words. And I'm butchering them because I'm obviously not going to remember like his exact words. Sorry for the little reminder there. I need to send a message to my team so that they know what tonight's video is about. But I'll never forget what Pete said, right? Pete said, I've been healing for a really, really long time, and I've come a long way, but I'm also very realistic, and I know that on any given day, there's always the possibility that I'm going to wake up in an emotional flashback. I'm going to get triggered by something. It's just the way that life works, right? It's the human process. But the difference is my triggers, my emotional flashbacks, like they don't cut so deep. They don't last as long. The intensity has diminished so much, and the frequency has decreased so much. And I now have the tools, the support in place, the resources and the support I need in place. So I'm not floundering, wondering what's going on and which way is up. I know that I can co-regulate or co-counsel with my spouse, with my partner, or I can connect with my group that I've been connected to for several years now. And I know that someone is going to understand. They're going to hear me. They're going to see me. They're going to understand me. They're going to have compassion. They're going to acknowledge my experience. They're going to validate my emotions, my feelings. They're going to express empathy and warmth and kindness and patience and gentleness. And that is the difference, you guys. That is the change that we are embracing. We are embracing the new change of knowing that we're not floundering out there alone. The very fact that you can hear my voice means that you're not alone. You have all of us here. There are thousands of us here in this community. Thousands. Thousands of us here in this community who have a similar lived experience to you. We will witness you with compassion. We will acknowledge your lived experience. We will validate your feelings and your emotions. We will share our empathy and our warmth and our patience and our kindness and our gentleness with you. Because you are worth it. You've always been worth it. Okay? So our compassionate healing strategy for today is talking about reflecting upon our strengths. This is a strengths-based approach, and we have some journal prompts here. Okay? So growing up with a history of any type of childhood trauma, can lead us to focus on our pain and our problems while simultaneously ignoring the ways that we are strong and resilient. So, a strengths-based approach to healing involves focusing on our positive qualities, and this helps us to counter the difficult feelings of hopelessness and despair when they arise, because they will. Just as the anxiety will come along, just as the hypervigilance will come along, so will the hopelessness and the despair. That is complex PTSD. We have the anxious presentation, we have the depressive presentation. Okay? But that's okay. When they arise, we can do our very best to be reminded of our positive qualities. So please, 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 for you, because you're worth it, take some time and write your answers to the following journal prompts. You can do so in the chat box. You can do it in your notes app of your phone. You can do an audio journal on your device. You can also type it in the chat box or in a journal, like in a paper journal with a pen or a pencil. Okay? And just pause occasionally and notice how you feel mentally, emotionally, and physically after you focus on your strengths for even just a few micro moments. Okay? So here we go. Here are some journal prompts. What positive qualities best describe you? For example, how are you as a person? Dr. Ariel says you might explore how you are a caring person or a good friend to others. Perhaps you have a good sense of humor, or you believe in fairness, or you enjoy spending time learning new things. Maybe you have a willingness to read and engage in the activities that are being offered to you here when we do these journal prompts. What positive qualities best describe you? Next, reflect upon your growth. For example, what are the positive changes that you have created in your life? What about your commitment to your healing? That's a positive quality. I know you're committed to your healing because you're here. You're here right now. You can hear my voice right now. Many of you are here for the 100th or 300th or 1,000th time. Maybe even the 2,000th time or the 3,000th time. Right? It's been almost 10 years. You're here right now. Reflect upon your growth. What are the positive changes that you have created in your life? What strengths have you discovered about yourself? How about what have you learned as a result of your healing process? For example, maybe you opened up emotionally, or you've discovered a new spiritual perspective, or explored a new creative capacity. Perhaps you've realized your capacity to be brave, determined, or mentally tough. Mental toughness is a skill. Mental toughness is a skill. It can be learned. And lastly, what hopes or visions do you have for your future? For example, what new qualities would you like to expand and grow? What goals would you like to set for yourself? What do you need to do to accomplish these goals? What do you need to support you to be successful? I'm glad I got to spend this time with you. Yeah, cultivating healthier connections. I definitely resonate with that. Susan says, personal goal, decreased flashbacks, intensity and frequency. Yes. Yes, Midnight Blue says, finding great support systems has been key. Yes. Hey, Jeffrey Sherman. So great to see you. Oh, my hand is on my heart. I'm offering you so much compassion, Jeffrey Sherman. Jeffrey says, I'm fighting a bit of sadness and hopelessness. I'm looking at life as a whole as depressing. I know it'll pass. Oh my goodness. Jeffrey Sherman, I'm so sorry. So sorry. That was the focus of this week. That's been our whole focus this week. In the compassionate healing strategy, it was all about hopelessness. You're in the right place, Jeffrey Sherman. I'm so glad you're here. So glad you're here. So we're going to end our time. I'm way over time. We're going to end our time with our loving the self affirmation. Here we go. Lisa says, we often grow up believing that our worth was only as strong as our caretakers were able to make us feel. We searched for ways to feel good enough to our caretakers. We got thin, we stayed quiet, we excelled in school, or we tried to be just like them. But today, I release those in my past who never quite understood how deeply I needed to feel seen as a child. Because a healthy sense of self was not mirrored back to me, I never learned to look within for love. Instead, my wounds had me forever looking outside of myself for love. But today I will practice releasing those who failed to understand how deeply I needed my inner being to feel seen. I'm sending you all so much love. so much love. Oh, Jeffrey Sherman says, I need an Athena or two in my real life. This is real life. I swear. I swear it's real. Oh, I'm sending you so much love. All these hearts. Please be extra kind and extra patient and extra gentle with yourself because you're worth it. And I look forward to seeing you very soon. Next week, right here, 7 p.m., or over in our community. There is a link in the description section and a link in the chat box. Good night, everyone.